Good morning, all. Let's start today's session. Just for a recap, in the previous session, we just discussing about the what is licenses and what is the licenses we have with the Dynamics 365. For that, this is the licensing guide. I hope I have shared the document in the WhatsApp group. I hope you have gone through the documents and all. And coming to this admin centers, for any software, there should be some admin activity, right? For this admin activity, this is like admin centers which we have, like Power Platform Admin Center, Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and Azure. These are the three admin center which we are going to work in the near future or in Dynamics 360. Before going into the Dynamics 365, the core concepts, some of the terminology which I have provided, like tenant, environment, instances, organization URL, GUID, and deployment. So these are the regular terminology where we are going to discuss, or where we are going to keep on using this terminology while we are looking into the some of the topics. And I just explained you how the IT companies have, how this deployment process, how these companies will follow the deployment process, especially in Dynamics 365. Further, there will be separate environments or instances will be created for development activity, one instance for QA stage one or UAT or production. Right. For that, we have taken an example of BMW. This is how they will create different instances uh, for their regular activities. Moving of solution from one instance to another instance is nothing but the deployment. Right. This is what actually we are seeing in the previous classes. And coming to this Power Platform Admin Center, we just given an introduction on PPAC, that is Power Platform Admin Center. Why this is required? The Power Platform Admin Center is required to create or manage the instances, maybe dev, QA, or stages of UAT or production. Whatever the instances you would like to work on, you can start creating the instances by using this Power Platform Admin Center. And how to create the instances? That's like very much easy, as I said. UI based everything here in Dynamics 365. There is not much coding is required. It is like UI based only. You can create an environment as simple, just follow the wizard, or I mean to say that on the day we have seen by opening the Power Platform Admin Center portal, right? To access that, admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com or aka.ms/ppack. These are the two URLs where you can use. In this, just click on this environments and plus new button, and how to create this new environment. That's what we are seeing in the previous session. So to create, while creating this any new instances, we have seen language, region, and currency as some of the options which you can't change in the future. I mean to say, if you set the language, region, or currency, these are going to be like base settings. Base settings in the sense you can't change in future. But if you want to see in the different currency, or if you want to visualize the data in different language, there will be a personalization setting. This you can change as per the user requirement. The user can change this. But in the organization perspective, it is like fixed. You can't change the base settings of the instance. That's what actually we are seeing in the previous sessions. So today, let's discuss some more information on this Power Platform Admin Center server. Now, as you know, we are taking an example of BMW, right? So now let's decide BMW has purchased the license and they have created the instances like dev instance, production, or UAT or QA instance, different instances they have created. Now, how this Microsoft is maintaining all these things. Let's see what actually will happen once we create any instance like this. Now, let's say this is one of the instance like sales trial instance. You know how to create, right? Plus new button, and you need to fill all this information and click on save. It will create an instance. That's we discussed in the previous session. Now, if you click on this sales trial, this is the window where it will provide the information about your environment. This is your environment URL, or you can also refer it as organization URL or instance URL. Anything is fine. Right? If you want to access the environment, simply you need to click on this thing, or you need to copy and paste the URL in the other tab or the browser. Then you can access your instance. This is your sales trial application. Of course, this is like brand new, I mean to say. We have not added anything. We have not created any tables. We have not created any data. But as it's like trail period, as it's like trail account, it provided some dummy data which to showcase the information for you, right? They have added some dummy contacts, some dummy accounts, some data duplicate. I mean to say some data is automatically added just to analyze the system, right? This is like environmental URL or organization URL where you could see the environment URL in the details section. What does this state mean? State ready in the sense your organization is ready, where you can start using your organization URL, start using your application in this instance. Sometime it shows like processing or stopped. What does it mean in the sense? Now let's say if you are taking some backup, or let's say you are restoring some data to your application, or while you are creating a new instance, at the time it shows under processing. That means it is not yet ready. So if you access the instance, it will not access to use, right? The state is nothing but will provide you what is the stage of this environment. And the region, if you see the region is nothing but where actually this server is located. The instance which we created, nothing but the region here. That's what we are discussing right here. Once the base settings here, whatever the region you have selected, that is going to be your region. So based upon the region selected, Microsoft will provide some data centers. Microsoft will maintain some data centers. You know what is data centers, right? They will maintain the servers in some geolocations. Now, let's say Microsoft has the customers from India. They will allocate the space from the Indian data centers, Indian servers. If any customers from US, they have some different data centers in the US region, and they will allocate the space from the US region, right? Here, the region will specify in which data center your environment was installed, or you have provided space there, right? Refresh, this is nothing but automatically it will keeps on refreshing if any updates is available, or it's like automatically refresh. It's like frequency it talks about. And what is the type of the instance? Type is nothing but the trial type. There is different types of environments. Why it is required in the sense, as we already discussed, there is dev instance, there is UAT instance, there is a production instance, right? So what type of instance you have created this for? That means this instance we have created as a trial account, right? So that's the reason it shows trial. There may be a different types of instances, right? Whatever the type, it shows this information. And what is this security group? Security group is nothing but, now let's say your organization has a lot of employees. Some of them work for development. Some of the employees are used for user acceptance test, that is for testing the application. And this is like some different users you have. Now let's say I have three instances. Yesterday we are discussing, right? These are my three instances. I have created these three instances. Now let's say I have 100 employees with me. In the 100, first 10 members are developers. Let's say first 10 members are my developers, and next 10 members are my quality acceptance team. Let's just assume. And for user acceptance team, I have like another 10 members. For user acceptance team, I have another 10 members. Now, even though they are my employees, even though all these 30 members are my BMW employees, but only dev team would like to access my this instance, BMW dev. If QA team would like to access this one by using this URL, I should restrict this employee. This employee should not have access to my dev instance. Why? Because he is nowhere belongs to the dev team, right? So if he is not the dev team, why should I provide access to the dev instance? As per security reason, what even though you are my employee, I'm restricting you to access. I'm restricting you to access the other instance. I will only provide access to the instance where you work, right? That's how it is. As simple. Now, let's say you are joined into any company like Infosys or Accenture. You are assigned with, if you are assigned with any project, any one of the project. then you can have access to the resource of that project only, right? Even though you are an employee of Infosys, they won't allow you to access for all the projects, right? As simple as that. The same way, here, whatever the users you are going to have in this organization, those users you can segregate with the different security group. Now, the security groups, why the security group in the sense? The security group is nothing but if you assign some security group to this environment, like dev, whatever the name you provide. Then now let's say I provide the security group as dev. So how to create the security group, that I will explain you. For that, we need to have in Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we have different admin centers, right? In this Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we are going to create a security group that I will explain you while discussing the my M365. In this Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we are going to define some security groups there. What this security group will do in the sense, for this environment, if I click on this edit here, now here you could see the security group, right? Click on this security group. Currently, there is no security group. So if I create any security group like dev or something like that, now what will happen? The users to whom I need to provide access to this instance, for that users also, I need to add that user to the security group. Getting my point? Then only that user can have access to my instance. So this is how the security group will work. This is just for your overview. But here regarding the security, we are going to discuss this security group for it takes 2 hours time to understand what actually the security concepts available in Dynamics CRM. But for now, high level information, the security group is nothing but which provide access to the instance. And to have the access to the instance, the user should be added to the security group. As simple as that. For deep dive, we are going to discuss on the security concepts for 2 hours. In that, we are going to cover in detail about the security group. But for now, to overall information, to provide you overview, here the security group will allows the access to the user. As simple as it. Developer would like to access the developer instance, then the developer should be in the security group of development. Testing team user should if the testing team user wants to access the testing URL, then he should be in the security group of testing team. That's how the system can be designed. That means your Microsoft is providing an option where you can restrict the users by using the security group. As simple as that. Right? For everything, as I said, for everything you can see some GUIDs. Yesterday we are in the terminology wise we just discussed the GUID. That is global unique identifier. In the same way, for organization ID, this is called organization and also environment. Anything you can refer. For the organization ID, it is one of the GUID format. This is like GUID for this organization, and this is the environment for this organization URL. Who created this one? Suresh YIT. So I have my own user in this instance. So who created this instance? It's provided my name, right? This is like details section. How you could see if you want to check regarding the environment or organization details. So this is the page where under environments you need to open that particular instance and where you can see the details section here. If you scroll down, it shows auditing. What is this auditing? Auditing means now if you are maintaining this any software to any company, so auditing is going to play a crucial role there. Why? Because now let's say the same BMW company, how they make the business with the customers, with the leads, right? However, how much leads they have, that much business they can make, right? That means here, what is the crucial thing here? The data. The data is going to play an important role in their daily transactions, right? Why I am maintaining this particular application or why I am using this Dynamic 365 to maintain my data, to process my data, to maintain my transactions, or to have some good relationship with the customer, like sending an emails or whatever the things, right? So here the auditing will comes into the picture in such a way that now let's say this is my contacts here. Alex Baker is one of my contact. Now let's say this is my record, and if someone has changed the phone number of this contact, so I should know as a top management, I should know who changed the contact of the selects. That I need to have some auditing, some auditing, right? That means what happened with my data when the data got changed. So what happening to this record? For that, everything will be maintained if you have the auditing there. So if you see here under related, this everything, if you see all these options, I have not developed anything. This is like brand new application, but this is like out of the box functionality. Everything is provided by the Microsoft. But as a consultant, what we are going to do, that's what actually we are learning in this complete 45 days session. If you click on this audit history here, it shows the auditing. Sorry. So it shows the audit history. It loads the audit history. As this is like first time, it is taking time. Here it shows if we make any changes to this particular Alex Baker record. So it shows who changed the record, when this got changed, what is the old value and what is the new value. Now let's say this is Alex Baker. If I just added Alex Baker underscore, something like that. So it shows old value and new value. What is the updated value and what is the old value and who changed this one and when this got changed. That everything will be tracked. Here I could say changed date, when this record got changed, changed by who record, who changed this record, and event. Sorry, event is nothing but whether they have updated, whether they have created, whether they have deleted. That is like event, which field they have changed and what is the old value of that field, what is the new value of that field. Here it shows changed field in the sense. Now let's say if they changed the last name field, or if they changed the job title field, or if they changed the email, so that everything will be tracked. So here this auditing will be helped if you enable this auditing. Now currently it shows auditing got not enabled. Right? If you enable the auditing, then what will happen? This auditing will be maintained in the system so that you can have some you can have the control over your data. That's how this auditing will help. Right? In detail, we discuss. This is just for an overview of it. For each and every concept, like security groups for the auditing and all, we are going to have some different deep dive sessions where you are going to work with the auditing, you are going to work with the security groups. For now, just giving you the basic overview of Power Platform Admin Center, what you are going to control with your organization. So this is what auditing. You can manage the auditing here. You can simply click on this manage. You can on or off the auditing. So based upon the setting here, you can control the auditing. If you start auditing, your auditing will be started. And this what you can control your auditing, whether if you require the auditing, that's you can enable it, otherwise you can ignore the auditing. And this shows the version number, data was version. This is the current version of Dynamics CRM 9.2.xxx.xxx. This is how the version number will be shown. This is what the current version of your Dynamics CRM. How you can see this version number? Before that, what is this version number? As you know, whatever the software you are using, they will have some versions, right? If you see the iPhone 14, iPhone 15, iPhone 16, what actually this all things? This is nothing but the latest releases that they will maintain with some version numbers, right? In the same way, currently the Dynamics CRM version is this is the latest version of Dynamics CRM. What is this version number? Now let's say this is the version number, right? Here 9.2.24112.182. So you can also see this from the organization URL. Here in the top right corner, you could see this is like organization URL. This we will call as settings or gearbox. Click on this settings. Here it shows about. Here it shows server version. This is your version number. So if someone asks, what is the version number, so here the place where you need to check the server version. In the top right corner settings and 9.2.24.112. So how these versions are maintained? So how the Microsoft is going to maintain these versions and all? That's as a consultant, we need to understand about these things. Why? Because in the while you are working for a real time, there is lot of things you need to check based upon the version numbers. Why in the sense? Now, as you know, any company any organization, I mean to say dynamic CRM, Microsoft will maintain. I mean to say any company who is providing the softwares. It is like keep on updating, right? It's keep on updating. It's keep on fixing the bugs or releasing the patchworks, and it's like regular process. Whatever you take, if they release some software, maybe in a week or maybe in a 3 months or in a year, they need to keep on update the software as per the latest things and all, right? In the same way, the Microsoft will update their application for every week. We have some minor updates. Here you could see the updates. Here, let's discuss. There will be an interview questions as well on this regarding the updates. How the Microsoft is maintaining the updates here. Every week we have minor updates. We have minor updates, and every year we have two major updates. So what does it mean? What do you mean by two major updates and minor updates? That means now this is my version number, right? 9.2.24112.182. So what does it mean? It has some meaning. Here we will call it as this one is major, this is minor, this is revision, and this is build. That's how whatever the software, this is how they will segregate the version numbers: major, minor, revision, and build. By seeing this thing, we can have some understanding that currently they are in the 9.2 version, and so far in this particular major build, they have done 182 times deployment has performed. In this 182 times, 24,112 revisions has happened. What is this revision means? Now let's say they have developed some software, some application. There may be some errors. There may be some label issues. There may be some theme issues or color issues. Or there may be identified some bugs. They have fixed the bugs and all, right? These many changes has performed on this 9.2 version. And 182 times has deployment has performed. Getting my point? Now let's see these updates. Every week we have minor updates in the sense. This Microsoft, what they will do, every Friday, they will keep on updating their applications. They are keep on updating their application. That will be as a regular practice for the Microsoft. Every Friday every Friday we could see some changes, some updates, some patchworks, some backend activities will be performed on the application, and it keeps on updating. That means you may be think that whether what's the updates they're going to perform. This is not going to impact your work. Even you don't understand, even you can't see by seeing the look and feel, you can't observe it. It's like daily security patches or security updates will be performed in the backend. It's like regular process. So you can identify this one. Now let's say this is the current version, right? 24.112.18. Now this is like second date. So on 6th or 7th, you can notice some changes in these two digits. That will be as 183 and 24. This number will be changed. This is how you can notice the version number. So right, every week you could see some change on this number. This one. This way, every week we can have some minor updates. And what is this major updates? Major updates is nothing but every year they will call it as wave 1 and wave 2. Wave 1 and wave 2. This major releases, they will call it as wave 1 and wave 2. Usually this wave 1 will be applied in the month of April every year, and wave 2 will be applied in the month of October. So here lot of changes will be observed, lot of changes in the sense there may be some new functionality is introduced, or the look and feel, like the look and feel may be changed. This is how the major updates, if they want to perform any major updates, that will be performed on this wave 1 or wave 2, right? This is how the company, the dynamic CRM will maintain in terms of updates, I mean to say. So that means whatever the organization, the trial account you have created, that means why this is happening. As you know, this is like cloud based. What is cloud based again? Here you are not maintaining any servers. You are not bothering about any network, any firewalls, right? Any firewalls, any viruses or nothing, right? You are not maintaining anything here. The dynamic CRM will take care of all the things there, as it is like cloud-based technology. This is the current version, and this keeps on updated by Microsoft. That's what actually I'm trying to explain here, how they are going to update your application. This is how this is the current version, and every week we have minor updates, and every year we have two major updates. How you can identify as a consultant, if you want to identify whether the update is happened or not, how you can identify that one? This is by seeing this version number. Here you may be like, what is
Sir,
this major minor? Yeah.
hello.
Yes, Rajesh.
So what is Dataverse?
Database is nothing but whatever the database. Previously, we used to call it as database. It's like just naming change. Database is nothing but once you created this dynamic CRM, there should be some background applications will be installed, right? That whatever the
Okay.
database you are going to capture, that we will refer it as database. That is
Okay.
database version number, which you could see there. That is nothing but in general term, in SQL general term, it is nothing but the database.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And coming to the releases and version numbers, here you could see not only for the dynamic CRM. Now let's say currently I'm using the Chrome browser, right? Here in the Chrome browser, if you want to see the version numbers, how you are going to see this one? About section. This is like universal, how they will maintain the version number. Here you could see the same format. Maybe the numbers is different, but the same format. Here you could see 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means this is like major, and this is like minor, and this is like revision, and this is like build. What does it mean? This is nothing but these many times they have applied the build. You know the deployment process. Deployment, you may be generic term which you are using in the IT industry, that we have the build this week, right? That means you are going to make some changes to your application. In that same way, every company will maintain their own figures, then their own numbers, I mean to say. In the same way, here Microsoft current version is like 9.2. If someone asks what is the current version of Microsoft, you just can specify like 9.2. 9.2 is the version, right? And what is this revision and build? While discussing the solution concept, what is the solutions and how you are going to import the solution, how you are going to export the solution. This we have like separate concept. At the time we are going to we are going to create some different version numbers. How this version numbers is keeps on updating, that's we are going to see in the coming sessions. But for now, how the Microsoft is maintaining your application, that's what actually you need to understand here. This is the current version, and major minor, this is what you need to understand, right? And coming to these updates, as I said, every week Microsoft is going to update your applications, or whatever the application they have, they will keeps on updating their application for every. That's a big advantage in the like from the Microsoft. I mean to say, why in the sense, it is like up to the market level. Every week, if you have any issues with the system or the security patches, everything will be taken care by the Microsoft, and every week they are keep on updating the system. So, and coming to the wave two, every year, the month of April is like wave one, and month of October it is like wave two. If there is any new functionalities, is there, they are trying to add those new functionalities to your system, or to make you user interface will be changed. I mean to say, end user to have the good experience for the end user based upon the feedbacks from the customer. They are keep on updating their systems. As a consultant, so do we need to bother about these updates? Answer to this one, yes, definitely you need to think after these updates. Why? Because now let's say if you are working with any client, maybe if you are working with the Indian region client, and someone is you have the US region client, maybe you have faced some issue with the application, to the out of the box application, I mean to say. What type of issues? In the sense, in the real time, of course, it's like something uh, forwarded thing, but let me give you some basic understanding of it. Now let's say here you have opened this sales application, and once you refresh the page, or once you refresh the page, and once you are clicking on this contacts, maybe this is not getting loaded. Maybe this is not getting loaded, or else if you're clicking on the new button, so it's not opening for the first click. Maybe it is making you to click for twice. But as per your knowledge as a consultant, you have not developed, you have not engaged any customized logic there. It is like totally out of the box functionality. But why the system is behaving like this? For the Indian region application, you are experiencing this thing. But for the US region, they are not experiencing this type of issue. Then how you are going to figure out these type of issues? For that, first, as an engineer, as a consultant, first what you need to check, what is the version number of this Indian region. Now let's say this is the application, the region we have in the India. So what is the version of this Indian region? This is my version. In the same way, you need to check the other region which is not having any issue. Like maybe that region may be US. For the US region, definitely the version number is different. The version number is different for the US region, and for the India, it is different version number. Maybe they are in 183, and Indian region it is 182. That means this type of issue, while you're clicking on, just I'm taking a basic example. If you're clicking on plus new button, it is not opening in the first place. Maybe there might be a bug, there might be an issue in this 182 build. So they have rectified in 183. So that is the reason US region people are not experiencing that issue there. So you will get the same fix on 183 version. Getting my point? This is how you need to work out. Now you may ask why this all are taking the licenses from the Microsoft, why the version number is different from one region to another region. So you may have this question. For that, how the Microsoft will plan, in the sense they will maintain the different data centers. Let me show you the data centers information here. Of course, we are not into the concept, regular concept till now. I'm just giving you the overall information how the Microsoft servers will maintain, and this type of questions will arise in the near future while you are attempting the interviews and all. So this is like at least the information which you need to understand if you are working with the system. So if you are trying to create one environment, so what should happen with this instance? What is going to happen? What is the updates? What is the Microsoft is going to do on my instance? So what is that version number? What is that auditing? What is that organization URL? What is that organization ID? This basic information, this background information which you need to understand. So that's the reason just I am giving this information for you. And let me open data centers information. Yeah. So if you see the data center region, this is like public facing document, which I will put in the notepad so that you can also go through it. So this is the information. This is public facing document from Microsoft, learn.microsoft.com. Here, if you see here, so here it will maintains different data centers. This is like different data centers. That means currently we are in India, right? This is the India. Now, if you see the URL here, crm8.dynamics.com. If you registered any account with the Canada region, it takes crm3.dynamics, and European region it takes crm4.dynamics.com. This GBR, you could see, right? This GCC again, US government, CRM9, and Japan CRM7. This is how, based upon the data center, the Microsoft will provide a different URL. Here, what is the region we have selected for this organization URL? It is India, right? India in the sense xxx.crm8.dynamics. By seeing the URL, we can able to identify in which data center my organization is located. In which data center my space is allocated. The .crm8 is nothing but your data center is in India. So why this is required, in the sense, that's what, based upon the version numbers, we are keep on getting some updates. That's how you can identify the things. So by seeing the URL, we are able to identify which data center we have. This is the document which you can, for your information, you can put this document. Maybe you maybe work with different companies. Once you get a job, you maybe work with the different companies, US region, Europe regions, and all, right? This is how your organization URLs is going to be allocated based upon the regions. This is one thing, right? And if it is NAM region, directly.crm, and CRM2, CRM3 in this way, right? Now, this is like data centers where you can identify. Now, what about the release schedules? What is this release schedules? That is nothing but where actually we are discussing about the version numbers. So how you can identify the version numbers now? For the different data centers, there will be a different schedule. They will call it as release schedule. In the Microsoft perspective, in the Microsoft terminology, they will use it as release schedule, and they will call it as train schedule as well. What is that? Train schedule. Maybe They will define in such a way that we have some train schedules. What is this train schedules in the sense? Let me open the document for you. No one is going to question you all these things, but this is just for your knowledge purpose. Maybe some of the in the interview, some of them may ask, but this is not that much mandatory. This will helps you to get some extra knowledge on the what the things you are learning. Here you could see release schedule for proactive quality updates. Here, if you see here, station to region mapping. That means the Microsoft will define different stations. They will call it as train schedule. Now, let's say this is station one, only for opted in environments. Station two, Canada Central, Canada East, France, Central India. This everything comes under station two. Under station three, and these are the some of the countries we have. Station four, station five, station six. In this way, they have segregated the data in different stations. Now, let's say just to give have some train schedule. Here you could see the train schedule. Now, let's say here this is the one of the version, right? February 7th and February 12th. It's like completed. This may be some confusion to you. Now let's take this example. Now one of the releases, now let's say if you have one of the releases, application version 10.0.3912. Let's assume this one. This is one of the application, that is Unified Environment Provisioning application version. This is the version. Let's assume. Now, currently, let's say you are in the station 5 region, right? That station 5 in the sense maybe one of the country. Sorry, it got disconnected. Let me reshare the screen back. This is the background how Microsoft is maintaining all this stuff, right? Here we are not going to perform any actions on it, but you need to understand how Microsoft is working, right? As you are working with the Dynamics, you need to understand what's happening with the background. So here, let's take this is ABC, one of the application to this version number. If you want to have this version number of this application. Now, as you are in India, you are in the station 3. You are defined in the station 3. So November 5th, this is the point, this is the date where you are going to get that update. But if you see the station 1, these people will get the same update on October 28th itself. Why? Because it's based upon the regions. Microsoft will maintain some train schedules. It first the update will go to the station 1 and then to station 2, station 3, station 4, like that. When this will happen in the sense, now if you see here, if you see here, station 1 is like October 28th, Monday, and station 2 is like November 4th. Just I opened my calendar. I guess you are able to see the calendar as well. November 4th, the station 2, it is in November 4th, right? And 11, November 11 in station 4, and November 18 in station 5. That means for each and every station, it will take the next week. In this week, for the station 1, the train approached station 1 in this week. The same update will carried out to the next region, that is station 2, in the next week. Getting my point? This is how the Microsoft will keeps on maintaining their updates. This is not only for the minor updates, this is for the major updates as well. Getting my point? Now let's say this wave on April, on April 4th, for the station 1, right? For the station 1. Again, maybe in the next week, maybe like April 11th, station 2. In this way, they will keep on updating their package. You may ask why they are not updating like once all the for all the geolocation. It is not the practice by Microsoft. Why? Because in the station 1, if they encountered any issues, if they encountered any issues in the station 1, they will rectify the issues and release the patch for the station 1, and the same build will be updated to the station 2. So that's how they will plan. Getting my point? ఈ వర్షన్ నెంబర్స్ ఇదంతా మీకు ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నాను అంటే, ఇది మీకు ఇంటర్వ్యూలో అవసరం ఉన్నా లేకపోయినా ఇది బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, అసలు మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ డైనమిక్స్ సిఆర్ఎం వాట్స్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ ద బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, దట్స్ యూ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద వర్షన్ నెంబర్స్, ఈ వర్షన్ నెంబర్స్ మీరు తెలుసుకున్నారు అంటే, లైక్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు నో అబౌట్ దిస్ వర్షన్ నెంబర్, దిస్ ఆల్ ద టాపిక్స్ విచ్ యూ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. How Microsoft is maintaining the version numbers, how the patches will be updated, how they are maintaining the data center, all this information you need to have some basic idea of it, right? So this is the another document which I mentioned. This is, of course, it is not something related, but uh, not about only for the dynamic CRM, maybe dynamic CRM customer engagement, dynamic CRM finance and operations, everything is like the same schedule. So you can make this as a reference point, how Microsoft Dynamics CRM is maintaining uh, their updates and all, right? This is how the data centers will maintain. Now let's go back to our Power Platform Admin Center. Right, to access the instance, simply Power Platform Admin Center, aka.ms/ppack. This is your sales type. Here the environment sales are, as discussed, URL and region. Based upon the region, here it shows CRM8. If it is NAM, that is North American region, it is like crm.dynamics. That's how the URL will be automatically generated. And this ArgID, environment ID, and everything we already discussed. This is like GUID, which is automatically generated by the system. And security group also I have explained. So based upon the security group, you are going to have access, you are going to provide access to your so-and-so users. And auditing, we have discussed, right? And the version number, to understand this version number, that's what every week we have minor updates, and every year we have the major updates. And you may ask, as a developer, as a consultant, I have done some changes to my application. Now let's say this is my application, and I have, as per the customer ask, I have changed the contacts to customers. I have changed the name of this contacts to the customer. Now what will happen to my changes if Microsoft keeps on updating their product? What will happen? What is the impact of my application? You may have this type of questions. You may have, right? To answer your questions, so whatever the changes, whatever the updates they are performing, this is not going to impact your changes, your solution. Whatever the customizations you are performing, these changes will not impact your changes. Getting my point? This is not going to impact. I mean to say, in minor updates, every week we have minor updates, right? With these minor updates, it is like 0% impact you have. Whatever the changes you have made, it will not have any impact. But if you take with the major updates, for every year we have the two major updates, right? There may be some chance of impact, but in my experience, it's not like much. But there may be a chance of 1 to 2% of impact. For for that reason, for that reason, Microsoft will suggest you to check the patch, to check the wave 1 or wave 2 release before 2 months of the release. I mean to say, now let's say, on your production, this April 4th, on your production, this is going to be updated with wave 1 release. To be prepared with the release, Microsoft will suggest you to have this particular wave 1 patch on your test instance before 1 month. Maybe on the January itself, you are going to have the preview version, preview of wave 1 release. Getting my point? You are going to have the preview version of wave 1 release. Whatever the new functionality, whatever the changes they have made in this wave 1 in major release, what in the same package, on the January, from January itself, they will allow, it will have from January itself, we will have the preview version. That means you can install, you can have the preview version on your instance, and you can test the wave 1 application. And after testing it, if you find any issues, you can rectify your issues. Or if it is not in your hands, I mean to say, it is issue with the Microsoft, you can raise a ticket with the Microsoft, and you can sort out your issues. How you are going to perform that thing, in the sense, here currently you could see 2024 release wave 2 on. What does it mean? Now we are in the month of December. Wave 1, wave 2 already passed in the month of October, and for the 2025 wave 1 will be available in the month of January, right? So in the next month we could see, some option here, try 2025 release wave 1. So in that scenario, you can click on this manage button. Currently there is no manage. Why? Because for 2025 January not yet came. So at the time, you could have that option there. So what the companies will do in the sense, they will create some test instance from the copy of production. Getting my point? How to create an instance that we have seen in the yesterday session. They will create a new instance and they will take a copy from the production and they will update the sorry, they will update the version to 2025 release wave 1. And after updating, they will ask the test engineers to test the application. Now, the same example, now let's say they have made it as customers. And in the testing process, they will check whether the customers is there or not. Again, it is updated back to contacts or it is in customers only, or any application changes or any functionality issues are there. In that way, they will figure out if there is any issues. And if the issues from their customization thing, they will correct their customization. But if the issue is from Microsoft, they will raise a ticket to the Microsoft. Getting my point? So that means Microsoft will suggest to check the wave 1 and wave 2 releases prior before updating in the production. And there may be a question that whether is there any I mean to say uh, now let's say I'm having this BMW version, I am having this BMW organization, whether I can choose if Microsoft can update my organization URL or not. Answer is no. It is like compulsory thing where it's like regular practice, it's like compulsory. The Microsoft is going to update their data centers. So if it is updating the data centers, that means that your organization in that particular data center, your organization will also be affected with that update. Affected in the sense will be updated with that update. So you can't restrict update. You can't restrict not to happen that update in your organization URL. Getting my point? But there may be some cases, if you can also request Microsoft to stop updating my production. You can ask them, but for that you need to provide some business justification to the Microsoft. This is how the Microsoft works. Why? Because here the main recommendation and main suggestion from the Microsoft as well is whatever the updates they are providing, that is for help the customers only. That means to make their product like error free or bug free, and with the more security patches, they keeps on growing their product. So as 99%, it is not going to affect any customizations. Whatever the customizations you have made, it won't affect. So the best practice is to keep on as per the for every releases, your organization needs to be updated. To make prepare with that, there is a preview version. Before 2 months, we have the preview version, not only for the wave 1, for the wave 2 as well in October, in the sense, maybe in the sector before 1 month, you can see the preview for the wave 2 as well. So it's like regular process. Any company will test with this wave 1 and wave 2 preview versions, and then they will be prepared for the major updates. That's how the companies will work. This is like regular practice in any company who are using the Dynamics 365. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి అప్డేట్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు ఇట్స్ లైక్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అంటూ ఐ మీన్ టు సే ఫర్ ఎనీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఈ ప్యాచెస్ ఎలా అవుతాయి, అప్డేట్స్ ఎలా వేస్తారు, ఇవన్నీ మనకి రెగ్యులర్ గా తెలిసి ఉండాలి. సో ఈ అప్డేట్స్ ఎలా వేస్తారు ఏంటి అన్నది ఎవ్రీ వీక్ మనకి మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ డైనమిక్స్ ఎవ్రీ వీక్ అప్డేట్స్ ఉంటాయి. అట్లానే ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ టూ మేజర్ అప్డేట్స్ ఉంటాయి. దాన్ని మనం రెస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేయగలమా మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ నుంచి అంటే చేయకూడదు. మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ సజెషన్ ఆ రికమెండేషన్ కూడా రెస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేయకూడదు. మీరు రెస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేయాలి అనుకుంటే వాళ్ళకి ఒక మెయిల్ డ్రాప్ చేసి ఒక టికెట్ రేస్ చేసి ప్రాపర్ బిజినెస్ జస్టిఫికేషన్ ఉండాలి అనమాట. సో ఎందుకు అంటే ఆ అప్డేట్స్ ఇచ్చేది కస్టమర్ యూజర్స్ కోసమే ఇస్తారు. సో టు అప్గ్రేడ్ దేర్ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఇంకా ఎక్స్ట్రా ఫంక్షనాలిటీ యాడ్ చేసి ఇస్తారు కాబట్టి ఇట్స్ నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్ టు స్టాప్ ది అప్డేట్. సో బట్ మీకు ఏదైనా చేంజెస్ ఉన్నాయి, మీకు ఏదైనా ప్యానిక్ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఉంది, ఐ మీన్ టు సే ప్రొడక్షన్ లైవ్కి వెళ్తున్నారు అదే టైంలో, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ ద ప్రొడక్షన్ లైవ్ ఆన్ ద సేమ్ టైం, మేబీ ఇన్ ద ఏప్రిల్ ఆర్ సంథింగ్ లైక్, if you feel that if I have the wave 1 update, maybe it is causing issues with my production. If you have these type of issues, for the same reason, they will ask Microsoft will suggest you to check the preview version before, right? That's the reason mostly in the October or April they will not plan for any production lines and all. That's secondary part. But this is how the major updates and minor updates will be performed on the system. So I have provided the data centers link here and release schedule. Data center will explain you the organization URL, how the organization URL will be created based upon the data center. As I said, India CRM8 NAM CRM.dynamics.com. So by seeing the URL itself, you can identify in which data center your organization URL is provided. And release schedule, this is like best just example I have provided. how they are planned, like train schedules and station 1, station 2, station 3, like that. They will segregate the data centers, and not all at the time. Throughout the globe, they will not update in the single train, in the single schedule. It's like week by week they will perform. This whatever I have mentioned, this is applied for the minor and major updates as well. I mean to say, now if you see 182 here, for the station 1 people, as in India, you are in the station 3, right? For the station 1 people, they will be in 183 now. That's how it works. This is about the major and minor releases. And whatever the operations you have maintained, like when you have created and when this is started and what is the output and all, this will give you the recent operations information. This is like basic the page where you could see all this information. And coming to the security roles, teams, users, and all, this is like core concepts which we are going to discuss in the in the regular classes. Now, as you know, as we have taken the example of BMW here. Now you know, as a BMW, why to choose the Dynamics 365 that we have discussed. And regarding the licenses, what basic licensing information part I have provided. And once you are into Dynamics 365, these are the three admin center which you are going to work here. In the first, it is like Power Platform Admin Center. Why this is required in the sense to maintain, to create or manage the instances, right? So for the same, in the Power Platform Admin Center, we have created one organization URL. That's what actually we discussed. And for that, before to it, I have provided some terminology here. And why these different instances is required in the sense for the you need to have some development there, and then you need to test and then move to the production. For that, you can have different instances. How to create instances we have seen. Once instances is created, what you need to check, the what is the version number of the instance, right? For that, we have discussed about the version number and what is the current version we have discussed, and why this, what is this format and all that. I have just given some basic understanding like major, minor, revision, and build, and how the Microsoft is going to plan the updates and all. Every week we have some minor updates, and every year we have two major updates like Wave 1 and Wave 2. For the same, I have explained you, I have provided the link here like data centers, how the Microsoft is planning the data centers and all. And release schedule, as I mentioned, there will be some train schedule every week. One station will be updated every week. That's how it will work. And I have provided the link as well. So please go through the link for your understanding and for your reference purpose. That's all for today. Please let me know if you have any questions on today's session. In the tomorrow's session, we are going to see uh, here simply we have created one instance. So what will happen in the backend? How the dataverse or the database will be created? So how the database will be handled? That how what's happening with the backend? I mean to say this dynamic CRM, as you know, this is total UI based. UI based where you could see you are simply clicking on the plus new button, and once it is created directly you are seeing the sales style and all here. So but what all these things, what all these tables, how it got created, who created this one, from where it got created, and what is this data, this for this everything you need to know what happening in the backend, right? For that, in the tomorrow session we are going to discuss about how the database and what is the UI introduction and all that will be covered in the tomorrow's session. Yeah, that's all from my end for today. Please let me know if you have any questions. And after the class, I'm going to share this notepad in the same WhatsApp group. You can go through it and you can check the links which I have provided here. Yeah, it's up to you. If you have any questions, let me know.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
So I need explanation on licensing thing, sir.
Yeah, regarding the licenses, Rajeshri, as I said, the top management will decide which license you require. And for now, while creating the trial instance, you can select the Customer Service Enterprise Edition. Why in the sense this Customer Service Enterprise Edition will provide you to access the sales application, customer service application, and also you can add on the field service application. In the same way, we have a lot of things, as I said, in Dynamics 365, there is like lot of things, lot of applications and all. What is this licenses and why to purchase the licenses and all? That's what actually I mentioned here. Let's say customer service. This particular table will help you to understand. If I take the customer service, what is the access I have, right? On the day I'm just discussing, right? For this accounts, customer service pro edition or enterprise edition. Now let's say you are dealing with any organization. Now let's say like BMW itself. I want to deal with my accounts. Accounts is my customer. and I have some users who are actively working on my system. So if you see the product Pro Enterprise and Customer Service Pro and Enterprise Edition, there may be a different costing for it. For the team members compared to team members, it is have the less cost. Now let's say this is like $8 per month. This is only $4 per month. Let's assume. Now, if my user, to my team member, if I don't want to have access to the account table, it's not required. Then why to go with the Pro? I can go with the team member license, right? This one. This is everything related to the billing version, billing related. How to reduce the cost and whatever required. This will be decided by your billing team. Your top management will purchase the license on it. So, but as a consultant, just to what's happening with these licenses and all, further you can just go through this document. This is not that much required, but just to have the basic knowledge on it, you can go through it so that you can get some why you can get what is the difference between the different licenses. If you see the team members, a lot of things are not available for the team members. For some of the for the different licenses, it has all the access. So this is totally access related things on the registry.
Okay, sir. So for other CRM also, it should have licensing thing.
Sorry, other.
Other CRMs like Salesforce CRM.
Everything is like same. Even for your see the Windows application, there have some different Windows operating system which you are using in your system, right? There will
Yeah.
be a Pro edition, Enterprise edition, Home edition, Professional edition. That's like different thing. Everything it's like license. Based upon the license, you are going to provide access to your database.
Okay. So
Uh,
can you please share this PDF in the group?
Actually, I shared the link right in the document. You can simply open this licensing guide there. Maybe
Okay.
I'm not sure this is like how much pages it has. It is like
Okay.
63 pages. Maybe the size will be more there. You
Okay.
simply type this whatever the URL I pasted. You can check with this, and it will automatically download the PDF.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. In the tomorrow session, after knowing about some database and after creating some users there, you need to definitely provide some license to the user. At that time, you can get some clarity on this licensing part. Yeah. If no questions, we can wind up the session for today, and we'll continue in the tomorrow session.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you all.